No spoilers!
Spoilers! Tekking! Before we even started, we weren't even talking about One Piece.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from the YouTube and Twitch channel Anime Uproar, and welcome to another episode of the One Piece Virgin. We are on episode number 5, and we're already 95 chapters in, almost at 100 boys. That's pretty crazy.
100 boys!
100 boys. Today we're discussing chapters 69 to 96.
69 boys!
Yeah, 69 boys, okay. 69 to 95. And then the next week, what will we be discussing?
You just expect me to know off the top of my head. Tekking, you're the encyclopedia. What's the next arc?
What?
Next time, we
Coming
will
up
be
next,
doing-
and that'll be chapter
we will be
like
doing Logtown, Reverse Mountain, and Wisky Peak.
There you go.
So how many
This is, I
chapters
think,
is
like
that, and which
16
chapter?
It's only, yeah, it's
I
only
believe
15,
that's like
16.
16 chapters in total.
Yeah, it's not very long. Yeah, Little Garden will be probably the longest out of all of that.
Little Garden will probably do by itself because that's afterwards. And that's
Yeah,
a
if you
little
want to do
longer.
Logtown and then Whisk. Well, actually, there's Logtown, then there's a very brief Reverse Mountain arc, and then
Reverse
there's Whiskey
Mountain.
Peak.
I
Yeah.
just said that, bro.
Oh well,
All right,
I thought
well,
you said Little
today
Garden
we're
too.
talking about Arlong, which covers 69 through 95.
All
Yeah, I
right,
just wanted to-
and
I just wanted to-
Animac,
hold on,
Mr.
hold on.
Host.
Hold on.
You forgot to
I just wanted to
introduce
clarify.
the guest.
I just wanted to clarify. I didn't forget, you interrupted me. I wanted to clarify at the beginning what
tantamount to
people...
forgetting.
Stop. I wanted to clarify in the beginning for people who want to know what to read and they maybe miss us announcing it later. But yes, today we'll be discussing Arlong Park. Such hype, guys. Such hype. And we have Briggs and Knox, my boys, here again. And we have Tekking101 back because people threaten our lives if Tekking is not here for Arlong Park. Tekking.
Yes.
I wish that was an exaggeration.
Yes! It
I
is
mean-
Tekking, in fact.
I
Crazy,
mean, look,
crazy stuff.
Arlong, it's an okay arc. It's actually my least favorite in all of
Yeah,
One Piece,
right,
but
right.
it's
Yeah,
oh my
kinda
god,
disappointing.
it's so freaking good. It's so
I
good.
Yeah,
I
bro.
think that on the reread, I must say, I think Arlong Park is like a 9 out of 10.
Oh no, it's beautiful. It's magnificent.
Or on the
Yeah,
reread,
so-
after you see Fish Cake Island, it's like, it shows you a whole deeper understanding into everything that goes on here.
No, yeah, Nux was annoying me last week, guys, because he kept saying that this is the greatest thing ever, and I was like, stop overhyping it. But just like with JoJo's, he finally didn't overhype something to death
Yeah!
because it was freaking awesome. I was even tweeting about it actively. If you want to check me out on Twitter at Anime Uproar, I just couldn't sustain myself.
It is such a good arc. At this point where you're at right now, just from the beginning, like this is probably the highest point in the entire story is up until like where you're at right now. It's really good.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Baratier as well, but this one, it
I
goes well
mean-
together, and it just upped the game even
Yeah,
more.
I mean, like I wasn't here for the
I think
Baratier
that's
last week.
a
but-
W for Lord Nuxenor, and Lord Grigo has to take the L because
Dude,
I was
Baratier-
rooting for Arlong and he was rooting for Baratier.
Barate holds a special place in my heart. I'll always like it more than Arlong, but I will acknowledge that Arlong was the peak at this point in the story, especially for most viewers.
Oh God, yeah.
Until Wisky Peak, which is
A different type of peak.
literally a peak, yeah.
Oh, and update. It's
I
chapters.
love Wisky Peak.
It's for next week.
I mean,
it's
Whiskey
chapters.
Peak is pretty cool too. Yeah.
It's pretty
ahead.
short, so don't expect the full Arlong arc. But it's pretty epic. It's pretty epic. I think we're all thinking of the same thing.
Yeah. Next week, chapters 96 through 114.
Okay, cool.
I'm excited.
And we may have to be on break next week depending on some family obligations that I have. But so if we're not here, you'll know why. But if we are here, then we're here.
Cool. We'll keep you guys updated on Twitter, so be sure
Yes.
to follow all of us and all
Yeah.
that.
So follow me at Anime Uproar Knox. How do you like that?
Good plug there, Animac. I'm proud of you. You're learning.
Thank you. But yeah, let's get into this, baby, because honestly, I loved.
Now that sounded pretty
Nami.
messed up, Animac. Let's get into this baby.
Let's
Damn.
dive into the fish.
Definitely unfollow him at Anime Uproar on Twitter. This
The
is so
baby
sad.
being this arc, Nux, you sick fuck. So I loved the Nami character development, the backstory, all the stuff that happened. So much stuff. I have a lot of notes. But I just, in terms of like general impressions, I thought that the Mihawk introduction from last week was the most epic moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Let's go,
this
Barate.
this arc definitely had the most emotional moments that
Oh,
really
yeah.
kind of really made me a part of the One Piece cult, which is, let's face it, what the One Piece fan base is. And I'm in, man. I'm in for it.
There was
signing
definitely-
up.
There was definitely a lot of emotional moments up until this point, but this with Arlong Park, this is the level of emotion that, you know, you get to see throughout the story, and it's how Oda handles these characters, and you tell you're in good hands. He's a good writer when it comes to that stuff.
I totally didn't cry on stream this morning.
Yeah.
I reread all of
this morning. Oh my god,
I mean,
I'm gonna go watch
I mean,
that.
a
for
little
sure.
bit. I felt like I was watering up. I got a little bit away from the camera. Just continued reading. Why is it raining inside? I don't know.
The VOD?
I deleted it. Yeah. Haha.
No!
No!
It's for copyright safety on site.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so sad.
I thought it was because
All right,
you're,
look,
Me trying to
let's
hide
get
the
started.
tears.
yeah.
I don't know
Everyone in
why
the
people are
beginning
just
of this
cutting onions
arc,
all
I
around
believe-
me. I don't get it.
How could you?
Nux keep like cutting out. This is terrible.
Yeah, Nux. You interrupt and yet cut out at the same time. It's amazing.
It's his special
It's the
skill.
ultimate combination of not being able to add anything of value, but the ability to disturb the peace.
People are asking if I shed tears during this arc. Yeah, man, the Nami moment, we'll get to it later, but the Nami moment where she's like, first she's like, no, we'll get to it later. I don't want to, you know, get
We want to
emotional.
go continuity. We want to go through the continuity here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because some things at the beginning of this arc that I thought were interesting that I noticed. We had Mihawk was revealed one of the 7 warlords of the sea, who are pirates that basically work with the world government,
Mm-hmm.
kind of have permission to operate.
They are they're based off of privateers. That's like
Yes.
pirates in the real life that were hired to do deeds by various governments and stuff. That's there's 7 of them.
Yeah, that was
Well-
my first thought as well, that the privateers thing, because I do know some about pirate history, and I know Oda obviously loves it.
Yeah.
And also we had another one revealed, Jinbei of Fishman Island.
Revealed
and he's a-
recently that Oda never really liked pirates. He wanted to make ninjas, but he knew Naruto was coming.
He actually wanted to make Sanji named Naruto. But then he's like,
No,
oh,
he
that's,
didn't.
that's a pot. No, he did. That's why.
He
so-
did.
You know how
it's
it's
a type of ramen.
no. So
Really?
his eyebrows are spirals, and it's a spirals type of fish, which is what Naruto was named after. Of. and that's what they're named.
Sanji was supposed to be named Naruto. I've heard that before. Yes.
Yeah.
I never heard that. But
Yeah.
also we had Jinbei of Fishman Island introduced by name as another
Yes.
warlord. And apparently he's the same type of fishman as Arlong, I guess, right?
No.
No, but they are both sharks,
But they are both fish.
right?
They are both fit. They are
They
both
are
fish.
both
They are,
fish.
they are both
Evan
fishmen.
Mino would love this arc.
They are both
Yes.
fishermen. But yeah. Don't worry about Jinbei right now. Don't worry about him.
So-
But yeah, he does get mentioned. Yes.
Animac, one thing I want you to note, they mentioned that there was 3 big powers in the
Yes.
Grand Line. But Luffy and Sanji kept on goofing off, so he never really got to finish what he was saying, but they just mentioned that one of the 3 powers were the warlords. So there's 2 more
Yes.
there's 2 more powers to be introduced later on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I guess the Marines are not one of those.
I don't know.
Okay.
Tekking,
'Cause
you
I
don't
assume-
know, Tekking.
I know.
just-
Like, yes, they are.
Yeah, I assume Marines would be one of them. But yeah, so then I really loved how obviously in the last arc we had Nami just abandon the crew, and that was like, no, Nami, why? And then it is revealed at the beginning of this arc that Nami is secretly one of Arlong's pirates, and that
Yep.
she steals treasure on his behalf. And I was like, what? What? That was a pretty crazy twist. It's like this Arlong guy is considered to be really bad. He's this like money hungry like guy who like tortures people and oppresses people, and it's like, oh yeah, Nami's one of his pirates. Look at the tattoo, and I'm like, what? Oda, what you doing, man? But I
Oh,
really
were you
like that.
tricked when Nami stabbed Usopp? Did you fall for it
Yeah.
at all, or do you
Yeah.
sense that it was a ploy?
No, I had a sense that it was a ploy because she had already at that point helped Zoro, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so clearly she's not actually evil.
That was such a cool scene when Zoro just threw himself in the water, just knowing, just like, honestly, he probably could have saved himself. But I feel like he just wanted to test Nami to like see, like, okay, yeah, you're actually a good person.
Yeah,
I know, and like Nami's like, work with me here, man, and he's like, no, I'm gonna prove to everyone you're a traitor.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, Zoro and Luffy have no strategy. They're just
Oh god, no.
oh.
They're beautiful people.
Usopp, rubber band of doom.
This
Yeah.
is for
Say,
Usopp.
when Usopp, the Usopp hammer technique was introduced in this arc,
Yes, this
I
when
was blown
Usopp-
away by how beautiful of a technique it was.
It is absolutely marvelous. This is Usopp's. You understand, like, he's coming from a backwater town in the east, and it's like, okay, Baratier, he didn't really get that many opportunities to really strut his stuff because there was like other people. But now it's like, okay, Usopp, well, the heat's on. You have an enemy you need to defeat. He's really strong. Go for it. Happens right now. So
I loved Usopp in this arc. I loved him so much. The first introduction. Actually, Adamak, want to get back on topic?
Yeah, so Usopp, like, it was a great arc for him, but it didn't start well, man, because at the start of this arc, Usopp and Johnny leave Zoro tied up in a boat.
Yep.
To be taken by the fishmen. And they're like, sorry, bro. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Release me. Release me. And they're like, oh, so you got marooned, eh? And then they just, like, basically take him in as a prisoner.
Yep, they probably won't kill you, Zoro. You'll be good. Bye.
You got to see Hachi around that point. I love Hachi so much.
Hachi's so fun. I love him.
Who's Hachi?
Hachi's the
dude.
octopus. Octopus.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
so he's one of the 3 officers of Arlong, right?
But he's
Yes.
silly, right? Like, he's a silly dude.
Yeah, it's
Fell,
Karubi, Hachan, and Chu. Yeah.
How do you remember that? I just read it. I don't remember that.
I haven't. Oh, by the way, I haven't reread Arlong Park. I'm just a natural nerd with this.
You're
shit.
just the
Yeah,
One Piece fucking encyclopedia.
Knowing Tekking, he's probably already made like 3 or 4 videos on Chew. So,
I have not made any, but I should. That'll be the video for tomorrow.
yeah, the deep and dark philosophy of Chew.
Chew.
Yeah, so in terms of this whole setup, I really liked it. So they go to this island. We meet both Arlong, who controls 20 villages, and I like that he has like this vision and ambition for what he's about to do. Obviously, he's a villain, but he's like, I have 20 towns under my control. My goal is to make as much money as possible because money talks, money is power. I want to create an empire and rule all of East Blue. So he's ambitious and he knows what he wants. And we also meet Nami's stepsister, and we learned that Nami's from this village called Koko, which is being subjugated by Arlong, and for some reason Nami is one of Arlong's pirates. So we set up this really interesting and puzzling situation right from the get-go, and then it just keeps getting more interesting. I love that.
I have to say, the first time I watched the Arlong Park arc, that's when I realized that Usopp is my favorite Straw Hat. And I was so proud of my decision that Usopp was my favorite, and then Zoro completely overtook him. But anyway,
Dude,
Usopp I was so
shined this
proud
arc.
of him.
Continue.
Dude,
go
the
ahead.
first time I watched this, it was the 4Kids dub, and even they butchered it horribly, but it was still pretty cool.
Dude, Usopp starts off this arc, or like one of his first introductions, is he shoots Arlong with an exploding star. And I
Yeah.
love this like balance of him being an absolute coward, but then when it comes time, he mans up and then goes back to being a coward. Like he can't decide, but he went on this journey to become a brave adventurer of the sea, and he's fighting all of his instincts inside and like the coward that he is deep down. And he's like trying to become it's like the start of his journey. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed about Usopp, he's a coward when it comes to his own safety. So if he's just threatened to no one else, he'll run away, he'll cry, all this type of stuff. But when it comes to protecting someone he cares about or innocent people, that's when he steps up every time, and he is willing to risk his life. So I thought that was really cool of Usopp, and I thought it was really cool that the way they set it up, this fight, the final fight in Arlong Park, it actually featured Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp each taking out one of the main officers, and then Luffy going against Arlong. So I like that there was like a teamwork, not just Luffy doing everything, because in terms of the previous arc with Krieg, it was mostly just Luffy and Krieg. So I like that they switched it up here.
Yeah.
Technically did fight Mihawk, but I mean, yeah, I get
it. Yeah, and Sanji, or Geen, but
yeah, but that was like,
yeah, that was a fight.
This arc, you got to actually see the power of the Straw Hats. Like, can you mention the Nami moment, please? Please.
Yeah, so this was the first...
Let's get to the Nami moment.
Before we get to the Nami moment, we get a moment beforehand where they explain Nami. You have to know Nami's backstory first. Nojiko tries. Nojiko. I didn't cry to Nami moment. I cried to the backstory with Bellamere and Nojiko.
Yeah.
And
yeah, man.
And Nojiko tries to tell the backstory or like Nami's history to the Straw Hats. And what's it called? Luffy's just like, nah, I don't care, goes for a walk. Zoro's like, I'll hear you out, and falls asleep. Like, I thought it was a hilarious moment. But then Usopp and Sanji, I think Sanji was just more interested in Nojiko at this moment, but they're willing to like hear out the story, and then we get the backstory. And I don't know if Animac wants to take it from here, the Virgin himself.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole thing was really cool. And first of all, one thing that we have to mention is that the fishmen and Arlong in particular, they believe that they're like a higher evolved form of human. They're superior to humans. Humans have to obey them and all this other stuff. So that is a big kind of plot point within that. And
more than you know. This arc sets up so many like building blocks for later in the story. Just pay attention to what you read, because they'll be coming up a lot.
I mean,
I do
just like on a character level, the racial theme between the fishmen and the humans plays a huge role
in the whole story.
Yeah. So that's interesting. It was definitely an interesting setup there. So basically, Arlong is justifying to himself. It's like, yeah, I'm making these people suffer and subjugating them, but it's because we are born to do this, because we're superior. So he has this kind of like excuse for himself for doing all these. Things.
It's stated like fishmen are like 10 therefore we're better, therefore we can subjugate them. Yeah,
Plus
10 times stronger than a normal human. Yeah.
Lowly human, you can't even breathe underwater. How pathetic.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then for Luffy, it's even worse because he can't even like swim because of the devil fruit. He just sinks. So he's like the anti-fishman.
Yeah.
What if a fish
that's interesting. So far, we've only seen like 2 devil fruit in One Piece. Knowing about devil fruit existing, before getting into One Piece, I assumed it would be just like devil fruit all over the place.
Yeah, but... well, in East, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's this like geographical area where.
Actually, it's actually the way that it's set up by Morgan back during that arc. He's like, they're really rare, devil fruits,
Correct, yeah.
He talks more about them like they're a legend. And yeah, in the East, that's true. Way more when you get to the Grand Line. In fact, even in the next arc, there's going to be some.
And then you get to the Grand Line. What is this, a devil fruit bargain sale?
Oh God, it is. It's so much. East. If you're like, we're like, wow, this is pretty weird. We're not getting a lot of devil fruits in the East. Yeah, wait till you hit the Grand Line. That will change like a freaking like snap of a whip. Like
funny because in the Grand Line, when you meet a character that doesn't have a devil fruit, you're like, what?
So weird. You mean
he doesn't have a devil fruit?
I know. Then you respect him more for not having one. It's like this guy.
Oh yeah. You get to the point where like you meet characters that are really big badasses without fruits, and it's like, oh, it's even way more impressive.
Well, think about Zoro, man. Zoro's okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I mean, I want to talk about a Zoro moment in this arc, but go ahead.
Get a Zoro moment. Get to the freaking Nami moment, Animac.
Yeah. So let's talk about Nami's backstory, because we learned that she and her stepsister Nojiko were adopted by a former Marine. Basically, she found them on the battlefield and managed to rescue them and then raise them as her own. And how do you guys say her name? Because her name is basically
Bellemere.
In French, it's Belle-Mère, and that just means stepmother, right?
Every way I've heard it said was always Bellemere. That's the way
I thought it was Bellemere.
I also heard Bellemere in the English.
I thought it was Bellemere. Well, whatever. Close enough.
Okay, cool. But Nux, as a French speaker, you agree with me that means stepmother, right?
Yep.
Which makes sense because
yes, indeed,
she adopts Nami and Nojiko when she's out being a Marine, and I guess they was like in the middle of a war or a battle, and she was like about to die, and then she saw these stranded infants with their parents probably killed and rescued them, right?
Yeah, she kind of like got like the motivation to live because she saw these poor girls, and yeah, so Bellemere. I thought it was so emotional for me when I saw how, sometimes she wouldn't eat because she couldn't afford to. So then she would have the kids eat and she wouldn't. And she would say, oh, I'm on a diet and all this stuff. And I was like, man, she's not on a diet, guys.
It's real world shit right there. Like a single mother raising 2 kids and not having enough to feed herself. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not even her biological
They ask how you are, and you have to just say that you're fine, but you're not really fine. You can't get into it because they would never understand.
Hey, Nux, not a right moment, bro. We're having a genuine emotional moment, and you're trying to meet a genuine emotional
I meme emotional moments all the time.
No. I know it's your coping mechanism, but no.
Memalities.
And it
Moment,
hurt me
Mac. You're
so
solid.
hard when I heard Nami say like, "You're not even my real sister. You're not even my real mother."
Yeah, because they're not biologically related, and yet Bellemere loves them so much and does so much for them. But obviously, a kid doesn't know what they're talking about. They get mad, and then they're like, "I hate you, mom."
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's adolescence. Also, I find it funny that they're not actually related because when Nochiko and Nami look exactly alike except for their hair color. Yeah,
and the tattoos.
yeah, and Nochiko has the tattoos, which she actually got because Arlong branded her with the tattoo. And
Correct.
so
Oh,
she got.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, Nochiko got a bunch of her tattoos to make Nami feel better because she had one on her arm.
No, I knew
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought Nojiko got branded or something. I thought it
No,
was
no,
because-
Nochiko didn't get branded. Yeah,
Yeah.
she just decided to do it herself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was to make Nami feel better about her tattoo.
Yeah, because I was wondering, why does Nojiko have all these tattoos? Is it like some kind of statement, or is it like a
Yeah, they're
tradition
like-
on that island? But she was the only one, so then I realized, and then they explained that she didn't want Nami to feel bad because she was basically okay. Let's talk about what happens with Bellemere, because that was another really emotional moment. So basically, Bellemere can only afford to pay tribute to Arlong for either herself or for the two girls. She can't afford to pay for everyone. And basically, the way Arlong works is, if you can't afford to pay tribute as my subject, you're in the towns that I control, we kill you. That's it. Like, very ruthless.
I have to say the four kids line. Can't pay the cash, then you're out with the trash.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
I don't think
God,
they would have
it's-
showed that. Yeah.
It's glorious.
Yeah, so basically, at first, what they want to do is the villagers want to get the girls, Nami and Nojiko, to just kind of leave the island, and then Bellemere can just pay for herself,
Yeah.
and she can be okay, and the girls leave, and because no one knows that Bellemere is their mother, because she's not legally their mother, she just adopted them.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no record. But Bellemere knows that it's so dangerous for these girls to be going out on their own. They're like 10 and 13 or something. And she's like, no. She tells Arlong about the girls, pays for them, and then she gets killed because of that. But she would rather die and have the girls safe than live and have them like be in danger because they had to leave.
That right there is like the first really emotional death in a flashback in One Piece. It's really
Girl that fell down the stairs suspiciously, but yes.
Yeah, that like, oh, that's what I mean though. All the other ones, like Usopp's mom died, but that was kind of like, that wasn't as bad. That wasn't as emotional. Kuina died, but we didn't see that. This is straight up like, she gets shot right there.
Yeah, her final
And-
words: "Nojiko, Nami, I love you," or like "I love you, my daughters," or something like that.
Yeah, no, it was so deep. And then it just tells you how tortured Nami is, because Nami then has to go work for the same people who killed her mother in front of her very eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But she has to do it because her goal is to help the village. And she makes a deal with Arlong. If she can make enough money for him, he will let everyone in the village go.
Yeah, she'll like buy the village from him for
Yeah.
like 100 million berries, I think.
Yeah, and then so she's thinking, I'm going to do what my mother would have wanted, and that is help the whole village be liberated.
Which is
from Arlong.
which is an absurd amount of money in the East, by the way, because Arlong, his bounty is 20 million. That's the highest bounty in the East right now.
Yeah.
And so it's like 5 times that for the entire village. It's incredible.
And so Nami has been doing this for 8 years.
Yep.
8 years.
Yep.
And then what ends up happening is Arlong appreciates her as a cartographer. She's like a genius cartographer, making the maps that he needs to conquer East Blue and everything else. So he decides to get the Marines to take her treasure that she gathered so far. She was like 93 million. She already has it or something, or 97.
yeah,
or something
it
like
was
that.
something like, it was a lot. It was almost
Yeah.
there.
And then he gets them to steal it so that she has to go start all over again, because he wants her to keep working for him. He doesn't want to lose her.
Oh yeah.
And that's the moment where she kind of loses her mind. She's despairing and all this stuff. She can't take it anymore. And Luffy's like, hey, you want me to, help you? And he's like, no, leave me alone. Why don't you understand, you thick-headed fool? Kind of, I'm paraphrasing. It's like, just leave me alone, leave me alone. And he keeps pushing. And then she just looks at him with tears. She's like, Luffy, help.
It's such an emotional
Oh no!
damn
First, he
scene.
starts
And then-
stabbing
hold on,
her
hold on.
Arlong tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
that as well.
yes.
That's what made the scene.
And
when she
Luffy
started to stab
takes
it.
his straw hat off of his head and puts it on Nami's head to cover her eyes, and just silently turns around and starts walking.
And then
Yeah.
like Zoro and Sanji are there too. It's like,
And
let's
Zoro,
go,
Sanji,
guys.
and Usopp No. They don't say "Let's go, guys," do they? They just walk silently.
You know what? I thought that there was no dialogue, but I went back and watched it once, and I think there is a little bit of dialogue there.
There is dialogue.
Yeah.
So what happens is Nami's cutting herself. Luffy grabs her hand, and then Nami's like, "Why are you still here, Luffy? You don't know anything about Kokoyashi village or what's happening here." He's like, "You're right, I don't." And then like she says something again. He's like, "You're right, I don't." Whatever. And then she starts crying, and she's like, "Luffy, help me," whatever.
No.
And then Luffy covers her tears with the hat, turns around, walks away, and says, "But of course," or "okay," depending on the translation.
Yeah,
or
he
"Of
says
course I
something,
will. Of course I will." And then
And
it
he
just-
like screams it.
he screams at the top of his lungs after walking away from Nami, and then it just cuts to Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro
To
sitting
the
in
walk
sand
to
dunes.
Arlong
Dun,
Park.
dun,
The
dun.
anime did it justice.
And-
Yeah, that was awesome because you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of like a Quentin Tarantino film or something. Like,
Oh
you know,
God,
just,
yeah,
like,
so
walking up like so badass. You know,
like something
we're
from like
gonna-
Reservoir
That
Dogs. or
walk
something.
Yeah, we're gonna
Arlong
fuck shit up.
Dude,
Yeah.
did you? I sent you a clip, Animac. I don't know if you watched it, 'cause I know you were at an appointment. You have to watch it after this.
I was gonna watch the whole episode of the anime. I'm gonna watch it then this week.
This would be a great plus. Yeah, a
I was
great.
gonna
arc to
watch
do that,
37 just to see that whole scene, but then I ended up heading on an appointment that ran late, so I didn't have the
Yeah.
time. But I will
There's
watch it this week.
also there's also the episode of Nami OVA that did it really good too. If you want like higher quality footage, but yeah, that the original did it amazing.
And
Yeah,
I
so-
just want to say the difference
Background
between the
and
manga.
four Chads, well, the three Chads and Usopp walking up to Arlong Park. Oh my God, that's one of the greatest moments.
In the manga,
Yeah,
you don't get the walk. You get that transition from Luffy saying, "Of course I will," and
I
panning to
know,
all the
yeah.
guys, and then you get them in front of Arlong Park, and Luffy punch the
You
punch
gotta
the hole.
have you. You got this
Anime.
path. It's stormy in the background. The clouds are gathering, and you just have the theme in the background. Overtaken, I think it's called, and it's just so good.
There's a lot of moments in
Animac,
One Piece.
you could straight up watch it right now. It's not that long.
I've already said, man, that I'm not gonna break copyright laws. Like, did you not hear what?
Not on Twitch. You
Checking
can like
set.
watch it separately. It's like 2 minutes long or something.
Like, I mean, like, oh, you mean
No,
just
I mean,
go? To...
I want to watch the whole episode, but
okay.
the thing about it is that even Johnny and Yosaku end up coming back to fight the fishmen, and
I
they
love
get wrecked.
Johnny and Yosaku. They're
Yeah,
great.
they end up getting wrecked, but I thought that was cool because they were at first they were like peace as well, but then they came back.
They're bounty hunters for a living, so they had to deal with like these are like a lot stronger than they're normally used to dealing with, but they have dealt with them before, like people like pirates and stuff. So they're
Yeah,
like,
so
let's-
all of chapter 81, I believe this was 81. They were talking about the Nami moment and the Arlong Park walk and the
Yeah.
Luffy breaking through. I think that's 81, and what a brilliant chapter, man! What a brilliant
it's
chapter.
magnificent. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm on the crazy.
This
One
is that
Piece lunatic
moment.
team.
I feel like this is the moment that basically, it brings you into the series. This
It
is
does.
that scene that you're like, okay, I am a One Piece stan
Yes.
for life.
Yeah, it's not the last arc of the East, but it's like the climax in terms of a battle in the East. This is what that all culminates to, and the East is nothing more. That's like a prologue to what we're going to get into later, and it's magnificent. It's a great way to end it out.
But knowing how many chapters there is, I assume it's just a prologue.
Yeah, it's the first 100
Animax,
chapters.
It all
are-
goes downhill from here.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, Annie's lobby worst.
See,
arc
guys,
ever.
I didn't overhype anything. Did you see that? I said it specifically to underwhelm him, when in actuality, it gets so good.
We get
Yeah.
it, Nux. You can meme stuff.
Yeah, good job, Nux. You just ruined it. But anyways, yeah. So like I said before, I love the fact that Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro were all involved. Later, Nami gets involved as well. At first, she's kind of like we said, she has that moment of desperation, but then she pulls herself together and she goes back to the fishermen as well. But I loved Usopp because he succeeds in beating the kissing fish guy,
True.
and he does the way he does it is
Yeah.
by just like
I
using-
always called him Blowjob Fish. I don't know, maybe that was
Okay.
He is Chew.
chew whatever.
Blow.
So she beats him. He beats him. Usopp beats him by using every trick possible. So like from playing dead to hiding in the woods to just like pure attacks of desperation, and he ends up beating him. Like,
Hammer
I
at
beat
the
someone.
end.
I
He
beat
knocks him
someone.
down, and then he just stands over him for like 20 minutes,
Ham-
overly cautious hero style. Ooh, stop hammer!
Yeah. The hammer moment is beautiful, but the best scene in that fight for me, I'm sorry if I'm cutting out, but Okay. The scene when Usopp, he initially plays rubbing fake like ketchup over him like for blood, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I'll just pretend I got hurt and then I'll walk back to the battlefield. But then he starts remembering everybody, like, oh, they're all fighting to their utmost to save Nami. I have to do that too. So I can't just lay on the ground covered in dirt and pretend to be dead. I have to actually take this guy down.
Yes,
So,
that's where that thing that I mentioned earlier comes in. So if it was just about him and his own pride, he would be like, yeah, I'm a coward, I would hide. But because he knows that other people depend on him, he decides to still fight.
That's his nut up or shut up moment for Usopp. He's got it,
It's also his dream, though. His dream is to become this brave warrior of the sea. And he looks up to people like Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy because they have these brave moments where they risk their lives. And you get these mini flashbacks in the manga where you see Zoro saying, I'd rather die than give up my dream. You see Sanji and Nami and them all have these moments. And he's just like, as he's patting dirt on himself, like, I'm just going to say I had a good fight, guys. Like,
I had my shot. Cry. Yeah.
Right? And he's like, and then at that moment, he screams at the fish man, I'm over here, sucker, or something along those lines to like, get his attention back. So he gets this balance between like being a coward for himself, like Animax says, but then being brave for others, but also like to chase his dream and like fulfill what he wants to, who he wants to be as a person.
You know what also the funniest thing about that scene is, in the 4Kids version, they cut out that whole scene where he's crying on the ground with the fake blood. They left in the scene where he lights Chu on fire and hits him with a damn mallet. They left that in.
But the fake blood was removed.
Yes.
So dumb. It was ketchup. It was ketchup.
I know.
I love it. I love it.
Even says
lights him on fire, and that's fine. Yeah.
No, yeah, it was great. And then all of it really comes together during the battle. Everyone contributes, and then Luffy ends up having this epic battle with Arlong. He destroys the room with the charts that Nami was working on for 8 years.
The cartography room, yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very symbolic in many ways. I really appreciated that.
Do you want to say anything about Zoro and Sanji's fight? Well, Zoro, the moment with him that I loved was when Arlong was like holding him up and like what are these bandages for? And ripped it off and saw this horrible gaping flesh wound. He was like, Arlong is like terrified. Like, how is this guy still alive? Like that scared him. That was.
Am I killing a man who's already dead?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I'm already kind of used to Zoro just always being wounded.
Yeah,
Hachi like underwater all of a sudden explodes.
yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah. The moment between Zoro that was great was like Zoro's like, my blades have more weight than yours, and Hachi's like, he took it literally. Well, my blades weigh 100 kilos each, and Zoro's like, that's not what I was talking about. A different kind of weight, you know. And so that was a good scene. Yeah,
I liked how. So in the end, Luffy ends up defeating Arlong, and they destroys all of Arlong Park in the process. But before that, Luffy ends up getting screwed. He's at the bottom of the ocean. He has to be saved.
Nux down. We lost Nux.
He has to be saved by Nautical, and he has to be saved by what's it called? The other guy. What's his name? What's the guy's name from the village?
Genzo,
yeah. So he has to be saved by them. He has to be saved by Sanji. I like that. It wasn't just Luffy crushing everyone on his own. It was a real team effort. Mm-hmm. So I appreciated that. And it also really built, as I think Nux mentioned earlier, it really built that crew mentality between them. They work together. They all have their dreams, and they know now they respect each other. They work together for a common cause. And then at the end, Nami decides to join the crew, because she sees how much actually Luffy cares about her and what he would do for her and all these other guys. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool.
Luffy never doubted her for a single second.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah. You're right, because someone mentioned, what about Nami's past? And he's like, I don't care about Nami's past. And he just goes.
Yeah. I don't think Luffy's ever really been like tricked by someone. I feel like he could see people for who they are.
Yeah. I mean, I know spoilers, obviously, but up until this point, I can't think of anything like that. Like, I love how Nami, she joins back in the Orangetown arc. And that gives us enough time to actually get to know her as a character, or like that facade she puts on. So now, before the East Blue's done, we actually get her story arc and like what's up with her. Like Usopp was all isolated to his own arc. Sanji was isolated to his little arc.
Yes.
But yeah, Nami is kind of more.
Sanji has no more backstory.
Yeah, nope. Sanji doesn't have anything else with his backstory whatsoever. Nothing.
He was born on that rock with Zeb.
He was born on a catering ship, and then he ended up on a rock, and then he built a restaurant with Zeph. That's all there is to Sanji's character. Yep.
Yeah, there was a moment where people were like, "Oh, Sanji, you're just a chef, whatever," and he's like, "I was raised by a pirate," and then he just crushes.
That's kind of true.
Well, he was raised by Zeph. That's what he was referring to.
Yeah, I'm referring to
Tekking.
Oh, what he was referring to.
Yeah, can I just say that I love Nami as a character even more? I've already liked her. I relate to her the most, but I really, after this arc, I really love her as a character. She is best girl for me so far. People have been
Well,
saying,
I mean,
"Oh,
her
there's
only
other girls."
opponent.
No.
Now,
You can't say best girl until you hit the Alabasta arc, okay?
Well,
No,
so
what are you
far.
saying, Tekking?
So
There is
far.
no argument for best girl until the Marineford War.
Who's the best
Okay.
girl there?
Okay,
Oh,
so
wait,
now I
that's
feel like
before
Oh.
that. She appears before
Amazon
that. Come
Lily.
on.
She appears. It's when she does enough for you to realize. Okay, Tekking?
I love
Listen.
how we're just talking about a character, but we can't use their names. That character ranks highly.
this is literally that Prosy D meme in real life.
Yeah, it is.
Python Footcock.
Back to Arlong.
You inverted it wrong. It should be Python foot
Vagina.
butt vagina. I don't.
Yeah. Just wait for Pink Galaxy arc. That's when you'll see the real best waifu.
Well, no, I feel like the beauty of One Piece is like that character wasn't my first waifu, but she's my current waifu. It's a journey, it's an adventure, and along the way, like I think his favorite character is going to be an actual Straw Hat that joins later on.
It's
his first
perfectly
waifu.
it's perfectly acceptable to rotate a lot of them in the story. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I said best girl. I didn't say waifu. I think
There you go.
Nami
Okay,
is
okay.
currently my favorite character, but that doesn't mean that I don't think of her as a waifu, just as a good character.
Well,
I feel like Bellamere is more up Animax alley.
I love her hairstyle.
Yeah, I
It's,
think that's an intentional hairstyle. Just
Yeah,
to be
they
badass.
named it. They actually named it. It's Women with Guts or something. That's the name that Oda gave to her hairstyle because she used to be a Marine.
Yeah, and then he told
yeah.
one of his readers to go into women's hair salons and scream that. Scream women who are brave or something like that.
Something like that.
And then, of course, they bring some orange trees onto the Going Merry.
Yes, they added some orange. They add some Meekin trees to the Mary. Yes,
I thought it was tangerines, at least. in my-
they're they're
Right.
meek. They're tangerines though, but they're tangerines. So we find out what the source of like Nami's greed is throughout this arc. It's the fact that she spent like 8 years of her life looking for money and money and money, and she will still have the greed aspect in her character, but she learns how to like trust her friends more in this arc, and it's more than just money from this point onward.
Yeah. So at
Yeah.
first, it was still cool how she was a thief and how she steals from pirates and how
Yes.
she's so skilled and clever. But yeah, right now we actually got a good motivation for why she wanted all that treasure, why she was stealing so much. It wasn't just for her. She had a higher goal and purpose,
Yes.
which makes her a cooler character in my
And
opinion.
then she became a kleptomaniac.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So back to Arlong Park. I feel like we glossed.
Well, she's
over,
a thief. That's her thing. That's her whole thing.
Yeah.
we glossed
I will
over
say-
Luffy being an absolute moron and being inspired by Genzo's pinwheel or whatever like it is. On top
Oh
of his head.
yeah.
And that's how he did the attack where he put his feet into the ground and tossed the cow or like the Sea King.
Momu.
Yeah, that was so funny because he was like the fearsome monster from the Grand Line, and they had already met that monster earlier. And the monster chief was like, "Oh shit, it's those guys."
Yeah. That
That-
is
One Piece,
Momu.
that's typical One Piece humor right there. Like,
It
you
is,
see
absolutely.
that style very often.
And then
So-
Usopp's trying to set Luffy free, and Luffy's just like, "Nope, not gonna budge. I bet you could try this all day, but you're just not gonna get me out." Like,
And he's like, "Bro, curl your toes or something, bro."
yeah.
Yeah. I love that. He's wearing sandals and he's just like, I'm just going to, stomp into the concrete. Yeah, I'm like, okay, Luffy, damn.
I know. I asked that question in a previous episode. It's like, why does he wear sandals? And I then think people were saying it doesn't matter because he's rubber, so he's not gonna get hurt. But
Yeah.
wear some boots, bro.
Yeah, he gets stuck underwater and they have to stretch his neck so he gets air. That was
Yeah.
that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it was an
Damn.
interesting kind of workaround.
Yeah,
And
that
built the tension.
also proves at that moment, yes, when devil fruit users are in water, they basically get like all numb and they can't move and they would drown, but their devil fruit power, it's just that they lose their like they would eventually lose consciousness, they would drown.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but they just kind of go to the bottom, like straight to the bottom, right?
I felt like that was kind of weird because, I mean, I guess this is spoilerish, but they should. I don't know if Luffy should still be rubber underwater. Like we see when they meet a certain stone later. That's not exactly the case.
Wait, what happens? I guess we can't talk about it.
So Nux is saying that Luffy shouldn't be able to stretch when the
This
sea.
is something that here's something I get even messages about this all the time. I made a few videos about this. The basic weakness of the devil fruit come down to any liquid that gets over your body over like a certain like I think it's like your waist. It starts to just drain you and you start to feel like lethargic and you can't move. That's the weakness. It can be any
but
liquid.
that's not the weakness because we see in Wano with the with the thingy that they make weapons out of that they like break through. Shut up, Tekking.
Okay,
right,
I mean,
why
like,
don't you
I'm sorry.
guys?
I shouldn't have said anything.
Why don't you
sorry.
guys do a One Piece prostitute podcast after each Virgin episode where I leave and then you guys just talk about all the spoiler stuff?
Let's do that, Nux.
Right after the One Piece Virgin, we're playing Apex.
But
Yeah.
while we're playing Apex, we could talk about One Piece. Sounds like a plan.
I am so down. Let's do
One
it!
Piece Legends.
Oh,
One
before
Piece
we end the
Legends.
stream, though, I want to say thank you to Sentinel of the Thick and Ingarata for all the gifted subs. You guys are mad lads. And Animac, we didn't talk about any of the cover stories.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah, we
I
got
live in Raftel and Metal Mama and Dougie B and everyone else who donated. Thank you guys so much. The cover stories. Okay, so from what I remember from the cover stories, we had what's his name, Buggy.
Buggies.
Buggy. He there was a whole thing where he got lost and then his crew got overtaken by a lion and then they got beaten up by some tribe on an island. But then Buggy came back and took back his crew. And then we went into the guy I knew would come back, Helmeppo.
Yes.
And
Kobe.
What's the other dude? Kobe, yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say Toby.
I love when he's like Helmeppo, and what's the other dude's name? The guy who's actually
Helmeppo the
relevant.
King
You remember
and Kobe.
Man, Tekking, your internet today has been rough.
Oh god, it's been shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, people are saying you got to stop using dial-up, Tekking. But
Yeah.
no, so then we saw in those side stories that revolve around Kobe and Helmeppo, we saw Morgan getting like transferred from one trip to another. He was in ship to another. He was in jail, but then he like broke out, took his own son as a hostage, and got away on like a small escape raft.
Yeah.
I think that was the last we saw in terms of the side stories.
Yeah, I love the side stories. They really help like expand the world over things that aren't related to the Straw Hats, and they continue to this day, and I love them. Yeah,
I just like that Helmeppo came back because I've always said that he is the Aizen of One Piece.
Helmeppo does come back. He's not a main character by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, Oda never forgets about him. He's still around. Yeah.
He's not a main character yet, Tekking, but the story's not over.
That is true, yeah. Chapter 1000, that's when it's revealed. Luffy dies and Helmeppo becomes...
Imagine. Oda's like, I'm just tired of it at this point, guys.
Oh my god, Luffy just gets cut apart, and then Helmeppo just walks out of the shadows, picks up his straw hat, puts it on his own head, like, I'll carry on your legacy.
And epic music plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my overall takeaway of this, loved it, loved the emotion, loved Nami and her development. I loved how the crew came together, everyone had a part to play, and now they really have a bond that I feel has grown immensely. And yeah, the whole stuff about Nami randomly leaving them, which was kind of a dick move, ended up being explained so well. And yeah.
It's a magnificent setup for the Grand Line journey, because this will be the crew that goes to the Grand Line.
Yeah, so I love it, and I'm excited about the crew being together, what they're going to do on the ship. We got, on some of the side stuff, we got like the breakdown of the ship and all the different rooms, the quarters. I just thought that was cool.
Yes. Yeah.
They have all these different compartments, and yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
I love it.
Right. Thank you guys for joining us for this podcast. Definitely my favorite arc so far, even though I did love Baratie, and I've been enjoying all of the arcs. And yes, I think that now I can call myself a One Piece stan.
Hell yeah! Welcome
We
to
did it.
the...
We can wrap up the podcast, people.
Yeah,
That's
that was
all.
the whole goal of the podcast right there. It was just
So you would agree
Yeah.
that the Arlong Park arc lived up to the hype?
Yes, which I'm surprised because Nux has so many times overhyped things, and I was like, this isn't
Well-
that good.
Well, the next few arcs are not. They're not the same level as it, but they coast really well. They're good arcs.
Well, they're shorter
Yeah.
arcs to transition into the next.
I
bigger
love
arc.
the Logtown arc. I feel like it's an underrated arc as far as One Piece goes. I really
Yeah.
like Logtown.
yeah.
Reverse Mountain is fine.
Dude,
Reverse
I enjoy all
Mountain,
three
you
of these
fool!
upcoming arcs. They're not Arlong Park, but they're still enjoyable because it's got the boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my thing is,
I have
I
to
don't,
say, I rewatched the whole Crocus scene recently.
I don't
Dude, I'm
mind
excited.
It's hilarious.
Nux. I don't mind
is.
if an arc isn't as intense as another one. I just don't like when you overhype stuff to the point where then I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I'm like, should I now have my expectations super high? Should I not? Because Nux is.
People think Made in
golden.
Abyss is an underrated classic anime. Okay,
No.
it's no recreators, but it
See,
is
this
great.
is the problem. He overhyped Made in Abyss so hard, and yeah, the three final episodes were good, but the rest was just average. And I was expecting
Nah,
like this
man.
masterpiece. Come on.
It is a masterpiece. Yo, Briggs, what did you think of the Bone Druid part?
That you recorded,
Yeah.
or yeah, from the what you recorded, I thought it was awesome. But like also, just in regards to him as a character in the anime, I thought it was great. I loved the last 3 to 4 episodes of the anime. They were amazing.
Yeah, I think Briggs agrees with me. The last 3 or 4 episodes were great, but we haven't read the manga.
I was including the manga, okay?
Yeah, but we haven't. So
So-
how are you supposed to? Why are we overhyping someone who's still trying to get into it through the anime by saying it's the greatest thing you'll ever see?
It is. It's amazing.
Should I watch?
It's like my 10th favorite anime.
I guess I gotta
Dude,
watch.
watch Made in Abyss.
Okay.
Watch Made in
The
Abyss.
Made in
man.
Abyss Virgin podcast coming this March.
Watch, Tekking's gonna see it and be like, "You were right. Nux overhyped the shit out of it." The Arlong Park arc and JoJo's is the only things that you overhyped to the moon, and then I actually liked it.
Wait, actively or just which part of it?
JoJo's?
Yeah, which part of JoJo?
No, so overall he hyped it up a
Oh.
lot, but I did like it.
Yeah,
Although
it's great.
Nux did overhype part 4, and I didn't think it was as good as he said. it was.
I didn't care for part 4 that much. Yeah.
Like, I liked it, but I didn't think it was this amazing thing like Nux hyped it out to be. Like, to Nux, Kira is like the greatest character. He was like, you can't wait, just wait till you get Kira, bro. Just
a
wait till you
good-
get Kira. You're gonna take off your pants and you're gonna streak down the street.
He's a good villain, but he's no Dio.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Wrong
like
with
part
you.
4. I
Kira
like
is one
part
of the
4,
greatest
but-
villains in anime. Do you not appreciate the psychotic? This is so sad.
I thought part 4 was great.
Nux,
but-
I know you relate to Kira. You relate to the fact that he pretends to
I
be a normal
relate
person,
to Kira.
but he's a psychomaniac like you. I know that. But I'm saying
Right,
don't overhype
believe
it to other people who are not necessarily.
Everyone knows a
sociopathic
Yoshikage
maniacs
Kira.
like you.
It's amazing. But anyway, well, JoJo's is one of those things that's not overhypable. Even if you don't like it, it just means you didn't get it.
I've shown clips of JoJo to my friends that don't even watch anime, and they enjoyed it. So it's that thing. It's that weird anime that always is great.
My cousin only watched part 1, and he says it's amazing.
I love part 1. Part 1 is good. It's short. It's a good
Wow.
read for an
Yeah,
afternoon.
But you know why he loves it? He relates to Dio. He's just my cousin's just a fucking troll. Like, it's bad. He's a troll, but like a troll that goes too far. It's like,
Briggs,
for him,
Briggs
he never
basically
goes.
Nux.
Yeah,
is
pretty much.
your
No,
is
of
your
course.
cousin a vampire?
Kind of looks like one.
Okay.
Oh man.
And yeah, Log Horizon is another thing. Like, I only watched a few episodes and I didn't think it was as great as Nux said, so I didn't continue watching it. But people are like, you should finish it, bro. But yeah, it's Nux's fault. He overhyped
It was
stuff.
actually great.
I'm
I
ex-
never overhyped Log Horizon like I
Yes,
did
you
Made in
did.
Abyss.
You're like,
Not
it's
like
one of the
Made in
greatest-
Abyss, though.
Okay, well, not
Not to the
Made in Abyss,
extent of Made in
but-
Abyss.
Although
I
Made in
don't know.
Abyss does have that soundtrack that keeps you
Yes.
watching.
And it looks beautiful as well.
It was a pretty
Yeah.
great soundtrack. But let's not do this now. Point is, Arlong Park was great, lived up to the hype, and I am proud,
Yeah,
very
Nux.
proud of
For
anime
once,
for
for once,
sticking
Nux,
through it
You did
to
it.
95 chapters. And we have to agree that Zoro with those bandages just he flexed on Arlong by being wounded.
It is great.
in a
Dude,
fight.
Animac, they literally always handicap Zoro because he's that like I in my opinion, East Blue Zoro is as strong as Luffy.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
Yeah, they used very.
Spoilers!
Animac,
Next week, you shall
Animac.
see.
Animac, guess what? We only have 877 more chapters left of the story.
Hype! Let's go, boys!
We're good. We can knock this out in like 2 more episodes, you think? Maybe 3.
No, but it's cool because if you think about it, we started this podcast 5 weeks ago, and we're already over 2 years.
Yeah,
in.
in the serialization.
Yeah, because Oda talks about, we're over 2 years in, and like in the side note. So I thought that was pretty cool,
He originally planned on it only being like 5 years long, and it just kept kind of getting longer and longer and longer.
Do you realize he started this at like 22, man?
That's wild.
Yeah. This is his life right here. Like Oda is over. He's set. He's good. This is his magnum opus.
Yeah, but that's so crazy. Like at 22, already have the foresight to start this manga that became one of the most popular in the world.
I mean, yeah, he didn't know it was going to be as big as he was back when he started it. But yeah, he started when he was 22. I'm glad he didn't start when he was like 40 because, he'd be really old by the time now. But,
No, it's amazing. It's an amazing accomplishment.
Unless you're Araki, because Araki doesn't look like Araki does not age at all. But...
Coincidence?
It isn't. It is.
It isn't. It is. Nicely worded, Tekking. Can we play Apex?
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week or the week after. Either way.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Love you all. Thank you, Tekking, for joining us. You were highly requested for this episode. They wanted Tekking in Arlong Park.
I hope my internet's better next time I'm on, but yeah, thanks. It's a crapshoot.
Thanks, man.
I love how
you.
it's better now. Like now that we're done.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's just a whims of fate. Okay.
Briggs, nice straw hat. It's a little bit too big for you, but
I have a tiny head.
You could buy like a regular straw hat at Dollar Tree for $1 that looks exactly like Luffy's. That's where I pick all mine up at.
Really?
And then you just put like a red thing, right?
It already has the red thing around it. It's
really?
It's like a straight up Luffy hat. Yeah, it's just they just sell it for $1.
That's awesome. And thank you, along with Tekking, of course, my boys, Briggs and Nux, for joining me for this journey.
This is literally the highlight of my week, man. Wouldn't be anywhere else.
So exciting. Yeah, I had a few people...
Tuesdays for Briggs is like flex day. He wakes up at like noon, starts streaming immediately, reads like 30 chapters of One Piece, stops, like, I don't know, talks to us in the community chat in our group about like how we're going to set up the podcast. He sets up the podcast. We do the podcast. We then play Apex Boys and it's dinner.
Yeah. That's my day.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Well,
called
hopefully-
dedication.
Hopefully, I'll join Apex Boys. I'm going to install it right after I'm done with this.
Tekking
Nice.
joining Apex Boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Thank you
All right.
again for going on this awesome journey with me. It's been a pleasure. I feel like I'm part of the community. A few people on Twitter actually told me that Tuesday is like their favorite day of the week because of the One Piece Virgin podcast, which is amazing. Thank you so much. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.
Banga.